Well, hello. Here we are on the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. It is a beautiful day outside. I am so glad that the weather has turned around. And Zach, I really don't know why you're playing this music. I told you last time how bad this was.
You don't like this song?
No, I like the hardcore stuff.
This is upbeat, funky, good times, man. This is as good as it gets.
I told you I saw them last week live, and I was turned off. But that's okay. So here we are. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. We are on the Real News Communication Network, and this show is brought to you by Kensington Vanguard National Title of Texas. This is a good news show. We will talk about what's going on in the greatest metro area in the country, DFW, and the greatest state in the country, Texas. Why are we the greatest metro area? Because people want to move here. Companies want to move here. And with people moving here and companies moving here, our real estate market is booming. That's creating excitement all across the Metroplex. So that's what we are here to talk about. Exciting things in DFW driven by our real estate market. And I am super excited to welcome our guests on the show today. We have Alexis Brausa. Did I say that right? Brausa?
Brausa.
Brausa.
Yes, very close.
Brausa. I was pretty close there. And you are the founder of My Solar Concierge.
Yes, indeed. In fact, my background is real estate and real estate finance, and I decided to really kind of create a specific product set tailored towards solar for residential and commercial.
That is super exciting, Alexis, and I'm glad you're here because I have questions about solar, and I hope that you can answer some of those for us and for our listeners. And also on the show with us today is Jollete Ryon and Tom Shavey, owners, founders of North Texas team Remax in the great Argyle, Texas.
Yes.
How are y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Great,
Thanks for having us.
You got it. I'm thrilled y'all are here. And y'all have some exciting news. Y'all are going to be on the American Dream this Saturday with a fantastic segment. I was there for the recording of it, so I can say that. It was great. And so we're looking forward to hearing about that upcoming segment and more about y'all's real estate business. So thank y'all for being here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, as we said, everybody is wanting to move to Texas. And so I was scouring the news this week and came across that DFW was number 3 for new expanded corporate relocations in 2017. Did y'all know that?
Wow, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yep. And actually 2 cities in Texas were on there, since we do talk about, the rest of the state some. So did y'all know the other city?
Austin?
Close.
San Antonio.
Close. You only have one other choice, really.
Houston?
It was Houston. They barely beat us. I was surprised by the other one, though. Did y'all know the other one?
Apparently not.
I did not.
I was really surprised.
Our staff.
Chicago.
Oh, that is surprising.
Isn't that surprising?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a positive show, but with all the murders going on in Chicago, why would anybody want to move there? Hey, let's go there.
Let's move our family to Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that one was odd, but maybe nobody's paying attention. I don't know. And so we were number 2 the year before, number 3. So maybe we'll jump back to number 2. But I mean, the things are still moving on. Last show talked about a big healthcare provider that just brought their corporate headquarters to Dallas, or is bringing it. So they keep coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What do y'all think? Why does everybody just keep coming to Texas?
Well, where else would you want to live?
Well, I agree with that. It is that simple, right?
Quality
born
of life.
and raised.
Quality of life.
Yeah.
Cost of living.
Yes.
Is that
all of the above?
In y'all's real estate
Opportunity.
ventures, or working with people? Is that the reason when they're out of state? What they're saying?
We've relocated many families from California that are not in agreement with basic.
The climate of not talking about the weather
What's the
in California,
correct way of putting that? Yes.
The political climate,
The political
not
climate,
so
correct.
great. Alexis, now you actually moved here from
I was
California.
gonna
You're one of
say,
those people.
Yes, I am. We relocated a business here, more business-friendly climate, right?
You
Not
helped.
unusual.
You helped this article be written.
I did.
Well done.
I did my job.
Well done. Don't pay any attention to Zach over there. Zach, we see you. We see you. This is Zach Lewis, our
Look,
producer.
it's really important that people understand who I am and where I'm coming from.
Right.
That's what I'm all about.
Yeah, if he's waving his arms, that's fine. Just let him wave. He's just trying to, seem like he's doing something. That's okay.
Our open house had a family from Boston just this weekend, so they're coming from both coasts.
They're coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have them here, so that's great. Just remember why you came. That's all I say. So also, have y'all heard of 5G?
Yes.
5G? Like your phone, like the internet?
Oh,
like
yes.
5G is
Not
coming.
4G, but
Yeah.
5G.
I think it's a crock. I think they just make this stuff up. Really.
They don't.
They don't?
They've been.
Oh, you're
was at
one.
Verizon.
You invented 2G, didn't you, Tom?
I was at Verizon. They've been developing 5G and the light speeds that are coming.
Does 5G actually stand for anything?
No.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Okay.
It's just after 4G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, at least they're keeping it in order. So 5G's coming. Texas is going to be one of the first ones to get it. Did y'all know that?
No.
Because
That's
like
awesome.
AT&T is like headquartered here, so like
Oh.
we're getting some of the first stuff. So if you haven't heard about that, go onto the website and we'll link to those articles. And also coming up, and I'm looking forward to talking about this next week. But the best companies in DFW is out. And so if you want to put your company on as one of the best in DFW, you can do that by going onto the Dallas Business Journal and filling out some information on there. So if you have a company and you're listening, do that. We will talk about those companies next time we're on. So y'all should take your companies and put it on there. Huh?
Sounds like
We
a
should.
plan.
Yeah, that'd be some good press. So so last week we talked about some of the companies that were in the nation, and we had I think 9. Zach, was it 9 companies that were best in the nation?
It was 9 companies. that
9
were best
companies
in,
in
the nation.
Texas.
Yeah.
So really good stuff here. So I'm looking forward to see who made it in DFW. So moving on. So before we get into the next segment, I'm really excited to have y'all on. Thank y'all for being here. Alexis, you're going to tell us about the solar energy, how that can benefit us as residents in this area.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to do this. It is a passion of mine. So
Awesome. Now, how'd you get passionate about solar real quick?
I know, seems like an odd thing. My background has been in, as I mentioned, real estate and finance. And I've also had passion in health and wellness. And I was trained in that and kind of carried forth my training in environmental health. And I just felt called to serve in a way that combined both those passions in real estate, health and wellness, and environmental sustainability. And solar was an obvious fit.
That does kind of fit in all those things. Well, that's exciting. That is really exciting. So I can't wait. I've got some good questions.
Good.
All right. So Jollete, now y'all are going to tell us about the American Dream segment y'all have. And when is that going to air?
Saturday, 1 o'clock, Channel 21.
Well, that is exciting. So is all y'all's friends and family
Of
ready to
course.
watch y'all on TV?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. This is completely out of our normal comfort zone, but to grow, be uncomfortable, right? So we
Right.
are really uncomfortable, therefore we must be growing.
Well, that's
Right. And doing it well.
Exactly.
Well, that's cool. So we are excited to hear about y'all's growth and y'all's plans for this year, and kind of y'all's perspective on the market up in the Denton County, more
Yep.
rural area than the Metroplex here, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, when we get back, we will talk about those things. We're going to talk to Alexis about solar energy. Thank y'all for being here, and we will be right back. Oh, see, that's good stuff right there. What was this called again? They've got the Beastie Boys Sabotage riff
They
in there.
do.
This is the Beastly Boys.
The Beastly Boys. Yeah, no copyright things going on
Not
there.
at all. No, that's totally
like,
fine.
only a guitar riff and the name. Okay. I love that one. That one's a good one. That
a good
one's a good
one,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. You're back in good graces, Zach. Thank
you.
Yeah. So, hey, here we are. Welcome back to the Working Title Show with Zach Sam still on with us. They did not run out. Alexis Brausa. After I get corrected, then I'm like totally ruined because then I've got both in there. So, Alexis, glad you're back. Alexis is the founder of My Solar Concierge, and also still with us is Jollete Ryon and Tom Shavey of the North Texas team, Argyle, Texas, with Remax, correct?
Correct.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, again. So, Alexis, as we mentioned in the last segment, you're in the Solar Concierge. Now, what does that mean, concierge?
So that means I handle the solar quotes, advisory, installation, and post-installation process. So really is a one-size solution. And first of all, thank you for letting me be here today. It is an absolute privilege.
We're glad you're here. So when you say like installation, like where are you putting this on? Greenhouses, homes, businesses? Like where is there a specific focus for you?
So my specific focus is residential.
Okay.
We also do commercial as well, but the focus at the moment is really residential and educating and inspiring homeowners to really understand the value proposition associated with solar, because there are a lot of misconceptions out there.
Interesting. So I make up stats a lot, so feel free to make up a stat here. But so what's the percentage of homes in Texas like that actually have solar? Do you know? Is it 1 out of 10? Is it less than that?
It is 1 out of 10, or less than 1 out of 10 for sure.
Okay.
So I came from California, and solar is 1 of every 5 homes.
Really?
In Texas, it's much lower, but Texas is a booming solar market, particularly because we have so much sunshine here.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Texas generates 13% of its energy through wind. So renewable energy is not uncommon in Texas.
Sure.
But solar really now we're kind of starting to hit the tipping point, because what we refer to as grid parity, that means the cost of solar is now equal to or less than the cost of traditional utility solar.
Interesting. So what do you think is, so California 1 out of 5. I mean, I could guess on why there's more solar in California than there is in Texas, but what's holding Texas back?
You know, for California specifically, it's because there are state-sponsored incentives.
Right.
Texas really hasn't necessarily adopted that from a state level. Federal, there are incentives. You have a 30% tax incentive right now that expires in 2019. However, there are local incentives sponsored either by utilities or cities.
Mm-hmm.
But from a state standpoint, there really hasn't been a lot of sponsorship from the state level.
Man, if they could put that on property taxes, I mean, they'd fly up, wouldn't
Exactly.
they?
Yeah.
Where do they go to find out if their community has an incentive at a local level?
Great questions.
Great
There's
question.
actually a website, Desire, so DSIRE, I believe it's .org, has a list of all state and local incentives.
So
is desire.com?
Yeah, I believe it's
.org.
desire.com or .org rather.
.org.
Are these generally tax credits or
It
tax?
can be, yeah. So the federal tax incentive is a tax credit. 30% of the cost of your system, including installation, there's a 30% tax credit. In addition, there are cities that offer incentives over and above that. And so for California, as an example, it has really propagated solar. In fact, because utility costs are so expensive there, solar makes a lot of sense. In Texas, we are a deregulated energy sector.
Right.
So the good news is that there is competition out there. The better news is that solar is now a viable competitor.
That is very interesting. So, okay, let's go like what we said in the Army. We called it Barney style. That means we break it down like channel 13, like Sesame Street. So, so let's say, how does solar work versus? I mean, obviously, I know it comes from the sun, but like, how does it work if you have it on your house? How does that work towards your do you still have an electric bill? Like, what happens there? What's the what's the end result if you have solar at your house, and is that power the whole house, or is it just part of it? Like, how does that work?
It's a great question, and there is not a one-size-fits-all solar solution. So it really depends on each house. It depends on your roof. It depends on your utility consumption. It depends on how your system is sized. So you could have 3 homes in a neighborhood right next to each other. They could all have different sized solar systems and different solar costs and different utility costs because of those factors. However, solar, how typically they work is that it's going to generate utility from the sun, energy from the sun that's converted into utility that runs through the grid. And then excess utility not used by your house will be sold back to the utility provider in the form of net metering. However, the caveat is that not every utility actually offers net metering.
Interesting.
So it really depends on where you are, and knowing someone that can advise you based on your utility, based on your locality, based on your state.
Here
we are
comes the
nationwide.
concierge thing.
Yes,
Aha,
exactly.
it's
That
all
can tell
coming
you
back
whether
around.
that makes sense. And if your utility doesn't allow net metering, we size the system differently. And then what's happening now, which is really exciting in the industry, is the battery capacity. You're really finding energy storage to be the forefront. And as people are able to install battery storage options at their home, they could effectively have a zero electricity bill, because everything they use, they would use that day. Anything they don't use would be stored in the battery, and then they could use it at night, because solar
I haven't
only
heard of
works
that.
during the daytime.
This is the Elon Musk solution?
One of them, actually. The great thing about Elon is as he has through Tesla and Solar City, he's really provided a great platform for people to get to know solar. It used to be a really pricey niche product out there, and it is absolutely going mainstream now. Because you think about all the things we plug into our homes and the evolution of smart homes, we plug in more things every year. Our utility consumption is going up. You look at the evolution of the electric cars. As we start plugging cars into our garages, our utility is going to go up. Solar is a great option to really fix those costs, own your energy, and save money.
That is interesting. So you mentioned where the energy sold back, right? The reverse metering or whatever.
Yes.
Net metering. So when you say there's some companies that recognize it and some don't, does that mean like TXU doesn't, but JEXA does? Is that what you mean by who recognizes it? It's like your actual provider at that, who you're signed up, who you pay your bill to?
Exactly. So you have different utility providers, and you have some that are run by municipalities. You have some that are run by cooperatives, like CoServe is a cooperative. Their net metering standards and guidelines are different than other utility providers, and that really varies, again, by provider.
So if they don't offer it, then they're basically like swiping free energy out of you if you're not using it.
Potentially.
Interesting.
Potentially.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like, in a nutshell, if this is something you're interested in, you really need, like, every house is different. Everything is different based on how much sun hits your roof a day. And
Totally. So it depends on the orientation of your home. Depends on the type of roof you have. It can depend on, actually, a big misconception is that HOAs will not allow it.
That is one of my questions.
Yes, that is not true. There's a law that suggests that absolutely every HOA must allow it. They can just impose their own architectural guidelines to them.
Right. So do solar have to be put on the roof, or are they put in other places?
It's a great question. They're put on other places as well. In fact, solar patios that's a great product out there in the marketplace right now for those who may not want it on their roofs. And you get the 30% tax incentive on the structure of the solar patio as well as the panels.
What does the solar patio look like?
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
So it's really like a pergola with solar panels laid on top.
Okay. And are these the traditional solar panels that we see currently that are the flat, they're slightly raised from the roof structure, and they come in different colors?
Well, predominantly there are two types. So you have a mono and a poly. And so the mono is going to be more efficient. Those are usually the black panels. The poly are the ones you see that have a little bit blue crystallization. They're polycrystalline. And their efficiencies are different. And some of them work better in some instances and some don't. And there are cost differences associated with it. On a lot of roofs now, what you're finding are the mono, the black, really efficient panels.
We have several of those in our community.
Interesting. Okay, so so I'm sure everybody has gotten that call from somebody that's like, hey, we want to sell you solar, or we want to go solar. I'd never talk to them. And
I wouldn't suggest you do necessarily.
Okay, right. But my thought, so explain this to me. Like, we just replaced our roof, right, this year because of the storms. And I mean, we all have the potential here to buy a new roof every year, or through the summer, through the springtime or the fall or whenever the weather's going crazy. So how does that counteract with, a solar that's on your roof that's, going to be blocking the hail? It's going to save our shingles maybe, but it's going to get pelted with hail. So how does that work? Because I would expect that solar's probably cheaper now than it was 10 years ago, but still it's got to be expensive.
And is it covered under homeowners insurance?
It is covered insurance. I would always have you check with your specific insurance policy and binder, but the solar panels are built to withstand 1-inch hail. And they test these things when they're manufactured. I mean, they really are stress tested. Now, if you have more than 1-inch hail hitting your roof, more than likely it's going to damage your roof as well. If you need your roof replaced and you don't have solar, it's a great opportunity to put solar on while you're putting your new roof on. And my understanding is that the 30% tax incentive will apply toward the cost of the new roof as well as the solar panels.
So towards your deductible for the roof?
For the tax incentive. For your deductible
Right.
toward the roof, it depends on your insurance provider. From what I understand, the 1% or 2% deductible applied toward the roof may also apply toward the cost of the solar panel itself.
As a claim as a whole?
As a claim as a whole,
Okay.
yes. But oftentimes there's no additional cost
Right.
to add solar to your binder, your insurance binder.
So what is the, sorry, Zach.
No, this is
I have
this
questions.
is
I have questions.
that's how this show
So,
works. And
what-
y'all are a great pair because you sell residential homes, right?
Yeah. So the incentives that are available out there, both at a federal level and possibly at a local level, compared to what the actual cost of the product is, how much is left out of pocket by the time you've received the incentive year end and what the actual product costs you?
So the federal incentive is 30%
Right.
off the total cost. As an example, I think Encore has an incentive that, and correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I believe it's $1,000 to $7,000.
Wow.
And so you deduct that from your total, and your ROI, your payback, is much, much less. In addition, solar actually can increase the value of your home if you're working with an agent, a lender, an appraiser that understands how to value it.
Okay.
Wow, there is a lot of great information here. We're going to have to take a break, but maybe we'll have to continue a little bit of this in the third segment. So, Alexis, what great information. And we're going to have this on the Working Title webpage as well as our blog. So if people want to get a hold of you and find out more information, they can find your information there. So when we get back, tell us how we get a hold of you, and we'll talk to you all soon. We'll be right back. Thank you. All right. We are back. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. Much better music again that time, Zach. Thank you. Who is that? Like Wild Hair Band?
That is Metal One.
Metal
That's who
One,
we've
man.
got
These
there,
people have
yeah.
amazingly. They're coming up with great names.
Next
these
week we'll
guys.
play Metal 2. That'll be great.
Oh, okay. Wow. I think I'm going to see them next week live.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Metal 2. They're
Very
my
cool.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them I sent you.
I'm an old groupie. Yeah. All right, so we are back. This is segment 3, and Alexis, what great information on solar you gave there. A lot of questions. So before we get to Jollete, I just have tell us how we get a hold of you, and give us a nutshell version of what the process is if somebody wants to inquire about solar, and maybe. Can you give us some type of ballpark of what costs look like for that, or how people pay for this?
Well, addressing the cost first. So an average sized system in Dallas is probably going to be about 5 kilowatts. And that's going to equate to approximately $17,000 before incentives. Again, that depends on where you live, the type of roof, how large your system is, and how much your utility consumption you have for the property. In terms of how to contact me and what we do, so at My Solar Concierge, we provide a free, no obligation proposal for zero down solar. So there's no money up front for solar now. You actually finance 100% of the cost, which is a big benefit and makes the owning versus leasing a better option, really, because you get the tax deduction as well as you get to own the panels, which could increase the value of your home. So how you reach me is through mysolarconcierge.com. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course my website. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'd be happy to do the free proposals. I work with homeowners and I work with real estate agents.
Awesome, and we will link to all of your contact on the webpage and on the Facebook page. So if you want to get a hold of Alexis, go there. Alexis, thank you so much. That was
so
awesome.
welcome. That was
That was
Thank
really,
you.
really
Thank
good
you
stuff.
so
Good
much.
content. Great content. So let's pivot over. Jollete and Tom, thank y'all again for being here. And just in case you're just tuning in, which would be weird since this is the podcast, but this is Jollete Ryon and Tom Schoeve. Now, Jollete and Tom, y'all are the owners of the North Texas team, Remax, in Argyle, Texas. So,
That's correct.
how is this year going for y'all in the real estate world?
Oh my gosh, the real estate world is, I think, as crazy for us as it is across the state.
Yep. And it's just spinning up.
Yeah.
The spring is when everybody starts getting ready to list their properties. We see the traffic on our website, and it's
Increasing?
It's
Oh, my
increasing
goodness,
quickly.
yes. Yeah.
There's people are starting to do their research and are looking at properties and trying to figure out when they want to go on the market and every day we see a significant number of additional visitors.
That's really interesting. So for those who don't know, tell us where Argyle is, what kind of community it is. Even people that are, we got a lot of new people here in Dallas,
Yes,
right? So
yeah.
they're like, Argyle, where's that? That's part of DFW?
I would love to tell you. It is ideally located. It is just south of Denton. It is north 30 minutes of Fort Worth, north 30 minutes, give or take, depending on traffic, of Dallas, and about 30 minutes from DFW Airport. It sits inside of the two I-35s as they meet at Denton. And so you couldn't be in a better spot to have access to the entire Metroplex within a 30-minute commute. So it's an ideal location. It's deemed a rural community. We have everything from master plan communities strategically located in our school district to 1 acre, 2 acre, and predominantly 5 acre lots inside our city limits. So lots of horses, lots of trees, less concrete, and it's absolutely
and less stoplights.
We're getting more, but
Yes.
right now we don't have as many as your typical township. That is correct.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
So how long have you been selling real estate in Argyle, Jollete? And how did you get in the business as well?
So I got in the business, life change,
Right.
divorce, and thought I had 3 children and did not know how I was going to have a job. I wanted more of a career choice, and I also felt very confident in my ability to build a business. So jumped right into real estate, got my license online in a month, and stepped out. I did work a couple of jobs in the beginning,
Right.
just to feed my children.
Sure.
And very, very quickly, my career was providing for my family. So lived in Argyle as a single mom with 3 boys for a while, a long while, until I met my amazing husband, which was well worth the wait. So, and then I kidnapped him, literally kidnapped him into the real estate business. So.
Right.
That's a true story.
And Tom, you've been doing real estate with Jollete now for what?
Well, this is we're going on our 3rd year now.
3rd year now.
I spent 35 years in different corporate roles, and there was a little bit of real estate content in all of them.
Sure.
Either managing facilities or negotiating leases and that kind of thing. So there was always a foot in that business. I relocated many times for corporate reasons, and so there was always a reload component to what I was doing. So there's always real estate.
Sure.
But in meeting a professional like her and just being, taken with the business to start with, it was a natural move.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. So tell us a little bit about your business. Like, what do y'all do? What's y'all's value proposition? What kind of clients do you work with? And
our community is so diverse. We have every kind of property, and so we very quickly needed to recognize that we had to be able to, in the very same day, I could be showing a home in a multi-high density rooftop community, and I could be walking 50 acres and not need to be in heels and a skirt. So our value proposition is that we have knowledge in handling every single aspect of a real estate transaction, whether it be in a master plan community or actually parceling off 100 acres from a 500-acre tract of land.
which are 2 totally different deals.
They are totally different. We have resources and vendors and knowledge in properties that have septic systems and deep water wells and function primarily off of generator because they're so remote that there's no electricity out there yet.
Until
They
they
need
have
solar.
solar.
Until they have solar. I now have a new
There's
I
a
know who
lead.
they can
a
call.
new vendor, exactly. So, and the thing about real estate is that although there may be similarities in each basic transaction, because you're dealing with the human factor, every transaction is different. The needs of the people seem to be very different from transaction to transaction, and their positions in life, So we do luxury homes. Very different than dealing with an unimproved property, a lot
Sure.
that doesn't have a home on it. So,
Right. So do y'all find people are seeking out or trying to move into Argyle? Is that an area people want to go to?
it is a very desirable area. And
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We track all the activity on our website. Bring that up again. But the 1 and 2, the top 2 searches from our website coming from Fort Worth and from Dallas.
Yeah.
And the migration is from the Metroplex north And frankly, from Argyle a little bit north as well, people are moving and trying to find a more rural lifestyle and a more, sane environment.
Right.
A large draw is the school district, and the fact that they want to raise their children in a graduating class of 200 as opposed to 6,000.
Right.
Texas now has super schools, and they are, for lack of a better way of putting it, a small college campus. And this is just a more personalized interaction. It's smaller classes. The ratios are staying good. Part of our American Dream segment this Saturday talks about what is the city council doing, what are the school board members doing to accommodate this growth that's coming our way.
Right, and you totally stole my thunder
I'm
there,
so
Jollete.
sorry.
I'm just kidding. So, but yes, and that is really what we were getting to is the American Dream. And so, just to backtrack on that a little bit, tell us, this isn't the first time our listeners have heard about the American Dream, so
Right.
we like to bring on, the segments that are coming on before we go. But tell us what brought you to the American Dream, and give us a little snippet, which you kind of already did, about who's coming on,
Okay.
and how to get in touch with you. So any of our listeners that have some interest in what y'all talked about will know where to reach you.
Sure. In terms of why I'm so excited about the American Dream, is that the question? Because I want to
Yes.
answer that. Good.
Sure.
Because I feel like I am the American Dream. I was a single mom that got out of a bad situation with 3 children and started my own business. And now I'm employing people. I've put 2 boys through college by myself. They're succeeding in life, just amazing. And I feel like I am that American Dream. And so I love the intro.
Sure.
I love the educate, engage. All of those things mean so much to me, and that's what I want to bring to our clients is education about their decision-making process so that everybody feels empowered to move forward. And so that's that. The segment that we're talking about on Saturday, Tom, is, if you want to tell a little bit about that, is more along the lines of everybody that's coming to our community and what steps we're taking to prepare for that growth and manage it.
Sure.
As Jollete puts it, we sit in the football stands every week and we listen to conversations, and people know and expect us to know what's going on in the community. We get questions endlessly about developments, trends, what's going on in the community. There's dirt being moved and no one knows why. So the fear is, oh my gosh, the town's getting too big and it's getting away from us and we're not going to recognize it anymore.
Right.
So the reaction to that is negative, and everything that's going on in our community is positive.
Right. So
we're trying
y'all
help
wanted to
people
set
understand.
the
Yes.
record straight. Let's see
Educate. Educate.
right. So
Yeah.
what's really happening? How are we responding to it? And what that means for everybody. So we're out of time, but tell us, how do we find you online and get a hold of you if we have questions or a need?
Absolutely. NorthTexasTeam.com is our website. You can reach us. You come to Argyle. We invite you to our 1890s building that was robbed by Bonnie and Clyde that still has the bank safe in it.
That's awesome.
Stop by and visit us, 600 U.S. Highway 377 in Argyle. You can also give us a call, 940-464-4663.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much for coming
Thank
on.
you.
And don't forget,
Thank
this
you.
Saturday, TX21 at 1 o'clock, we can see Jollete and Tom on the American Dream and catch their awesome interviews with a school board member and a city council member.
And a town council, yes.
Yeah, town council, yes.
Town
You got to say
council
town in
member, yes,
Argyle.
that is correct.
Or we are growing too fast there. And Alexis, thank you so much with My Solar Concierge. Really appreciate all the information on solar.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. It was an educational moment for me, that's
Yes,
for sure.
I enjoyed it as well.
Love
Thank
to
you.
educate and inspire, so thank you.
You got it. Well, this was the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. We are looking forward to seeing you again next week, where Andy Tuttle, who is our mortgage expert on the American Dream and a good partner of mine, along with Colleen and Todd Frost of Colleen Frost Realtors in Plano. We'll see you then, and thank you very much. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the podcast and listening today. I want to give a special thanks to Kensington Vanguard National Title of Texas. The show is sponsored by them. And Kensington Vanguard is a national title company with local people working here in Dallas-Fort Worth, specializing in commercial title insurance and residential title insurance. Kensington Vanguard will handle your escrow needs as well as your title insurance and your closing services. So you can go to the website at www.kv-lonestar.com to find our locations and our contact information. And we appreciate you using Kensington Vanguard National Title of Texas. We look forward to seeing you next week, where we will be talking about solar energy in the residential and commercial spaces. And we are really excited to hear about that. Something I wanted to know about, so I'm really excited to hear more about how that works. So we'll catch you next time on Working Title with Zach Sams. Thank you.